Hello to whoever's watching. Now, this video is about how you can use WordPress with WooCommerce in order to integrate your products up to Google Merchant Center so that they can be shown in the Google searching tab whenever people type in different products on Google. Now, this video is actually part of a blog post that I wrote on the topic. Now, if you're reading my post and you're watching the video from the post, then you're in the right place. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you would like to see the actual blog post to get some more context on the topic, feel free to look in the description. I should have a link going back to the post if you're interested. But let's get back to it. So as you can see, this is my wonderful WooCommerce site, and I'm going to be listing some of my, or rather, a few of my products to Google Merchant Center to show you how to do this, right? Now, this assumes you have a Google Merchant Center account already. If you don't, you should definitely go get one made. If you're reading my post, I definitely cover how you can make a Google Merchant account. But if you're watching this on YouTube, just head over to Google Merchant Center, make an account, and you can proceed with the process. So in order to do this, we're going to be making use of a WordPress plugin called WP Product Feed Manager. So let me go to my admin so I can show you the plugin. So let's go to plugins. You're gonna see I already have it installed. WP Product Feed Manager. So you have two choices. You can either go to the link in my post, or you can type into Google WP Product Feed Manager, go to the website that has the plugin, go to the website that has the plugin, download a copy of the plugin and upload it to WordPress, or you can go to Add New. And as soon as you go to Add New, once it's finished loading, I can show you, you're going to type in WP Product Feed Manager, and it should pop up. Yep, that's the one that I have right now. WooCommerce Google Feed Manager. So whatever one you want to do, just make sure you have the plugin. So once you have the plugin, then you can move on to the next step. We're gonna check out our little sub menu right here. You're gonna see it say Feed Manager. So we're gonna click on that. Now it's gonna take us to the main dashboard for the plugin. So as you can see, I already have a feed in here called Nike sneakers. I made that feed as a test. So now we're gonna make a brand new feed. So we're gonna press Add New Feed. And then now you just put a name for your feed. So I'm just gonna put My Product Feed. And then I'm gonna select Google Merchant Center as my merchant channel. So then it's gonna open up a bunch of other options for you to fill out. You're gonna put your target country. For me, that's United States, but for you, you just put whatever is applicable. United States. And it's gonna give you the option to set up a default category. Now, we're not actually gonna do this. Later on in the process, we're gonna connect our products to different categories later. But the whole purpose of this default category is to match up products to your product feed on Google Merchant Center. So Google Merchant Center has a bunch of different predefined categories. As you can see, these are a bunch of the categories. Like for example, I could click apparel and accessories, and then I can select a subcategory underneath that. And then let's say I picked, I don't know, jewelry, right? And then it opens up another subcategory. And I can go as far down in the categories as I want and as I need to match with my products. And you're gonna see when we actually start matching it up that it's very important to go as deep into your product category as you can. But like I said, we're gonna set these product categories up on over here where it says category mapping, not where it says default category. And if you're wondering why we're not doing this, it's because if we set it up right here, Later on, when we scroll down here to where it says Google product category, it'll select whatever we chose. But because we have multiple different product categories, like multiple different products, multiple different product categories, you don't want the overall Google product category to be one thing over all the other things. I mean, I'm sure if you wanted, you could pick the most general product category for Google product category, and then you can just get more specific on this end, but it's not necessary. Once you pick the categories on the right hand side with category mapping, it should be just fine for Google. So I'm gonna leave this as select subcategory. So I'm gonna input a feed title. If I don't input a feed title, it'll take the file name up here, my product feed. I think that's fine, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But down here, I'm gonna put a product feed description. I'll just put my product feed description. Yep, this is just fine. Well, obviously for you, when you're doing this, you want to put a description that accurately describes the types of products that are in your feed, so that when it gets uploaded to Google Merchant Center and you're tracking your performance, you can find everything more very clearly. It's gonna look exactly like you set it up. So right here it says update schedule. You're gonna be telling the plugin how often you want this to be updated. So I think you should probably put like something like 7 days, like every week. You want it to be uploaded at 12:50 to 23:59, which is about 11:59. Okay, so on the right hand side where it says category mapping, we're now going to be mapping our categories from our WooCommerce store over to the supported categories for Google Merchant Center. So on the left hand side right here where it says shop category, those are the categories that I have for my actual WooCommerce products. And on the right hand side, this column where it says feed category, that's the category that's going to be supported by Google Merchant Center. So like I said earlier, you want to make sure that you pick a category that completely describes exactly what it is you're selling from your shop category. For example, this is clothes, right? So I'll select clothes, and then where it says map to default category, because we don't have a default category, I'm gonna click edit, and I'm gonna pick the category myself. So I'll pick apparel and accessories, and then I'll pick clothing. And then I can go deeper into a subcategory, but because I have a large assortment of clothes, I'm just gonna leave that alone at clothing. So I have another category here, dresses. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pick apparel and accessories. Then I'm going to pick clothing. And then I'm going to pick dresses. So you wanna be as specific as you possibly can, right? So I'm not gonna bore you by doing this with all of my product categories, but for you, when you're setting it up in WooCommerce, you're gonna wanna go through all of your product categories, because Google recommends that in your primary product feed, as in like your main product feed on Google Merchant Center, you have all of your products you can in that one feed. So you generally don't want to have multiple product feeds. You can have multiple product feeds if you want, but that's mainly for people who have like thousands of products and they literally need to have multiple feeds in order to manage it. I'm gonna assume that most people don't have thousands of products and their store is small enough that you can fit all of your products into one feed. But like I said, if you need to make another product feed, you can if you want. So now that we set that up in category mapping, we're gonna scroll down to where it says attribute mapping. So you notice how it says required attributes. You can think of these attributes as being pieces of data that Google will analyze in order to properly understand your products. So here are some things that it needs. Every product feed needs an ID. The plugin automatically uses your SKU number for the ID. Title, product title. Description in the Google Merchant Center for your product will be the product description you set up in WooCommerce. So the link for the product is set to the permalink from your store. That's going to be the link you see in the URL up here when you're on your product page. And various other attributes like price, availability are and a few other attributes are going to be automatically matched with the plugin based on the information you have saved in your database. So the plugin makes it really easy for us to get started uploading our products to Google Merchant Center. But before we continue, I want to point out a few other attributes in here that are not automatically matched for you that you are definitely going to want to make sure you fill out. For example, you want to make sure you fill out brand. You want to make sure you put the global trade item number, the GTIN. You want to make sure you put if your product is for one specific gender or not, or if it's a unisex product. You definitely want to make sure if you put a different age group, a size for the product, and if the product is for adults only or not. So for example, for me, let's say for gender, I want to put unisex, right? I would go to where it says fill with a static value, and I pick unisex. And then let's say the age group for my product is adults, right? And I am going to pick a size. Let's say, I don't know. You want to make sure you pick accurate sizes for this, but because this is a test, you can just put whatever you want. Well, I can put whatever I want because I'm not actually uploading products. But for you, when you do it, you can put like small, medium, large, or you can put specific size numbers if you want, like whatever it is that your product supports. And then let's say I pick yes for it to be only for adults, right? And then there are a bunch of other attributes here as well. You just fill in whatever attributes you need to fill in for your product. And like I said, try to fill in as many attributes as you can because Google uses this information in order to see if your product matches up with what somebody's searching on Google. But once you're done with all that, you can then scroll down. Actually, not scroll down, scroll up to where it says, where is it? I'm looking for the save. Hold on. Actually, real quick, silly me, I didn't realize that if you don't pick a subcategory, a default category, it's not gonna let you save your feed. So what you can do here is you can pick the most general category for your products, right? So for example, for me, if my feed is only about clothing, right? I can just pick apparel and accessories and just stop right there, right? Now, obviously, if you have multiple different products types that you sell, like let's say you sell, I don't know, let's say you sold clothing, but then you also sold electronics, right? That'll be a situation where you might want to have more than one feed if you're using this plugin. Because if you had them all under apparel and accessories, that would be a problem. Or if you had them all under electronics, that would also be a problem. So now that we picked the most general default category and we specified our specific categories, or specific feed categories on the right hand side in category mapping, now we can save and generate feed. Okay, so if you clicked save and generate feed, you should be good. You can go back to your feed manager and you should be able to see the feed you just made. So the feed I just made is right here, right? If I click view, it takes me to an XML page that has all of the information from our feed. Now, if you're confused right now, this XML document that we just created is exactly what we need in order to upload all of our products up to Google Merchant Center. So that will conclude this video. If you actually need help uploading your XML file to the Google Merchant Center, or if you're following along with my blog post, there will be another video that discusses how you can actually upload the XML file to Google Merchant Center. So if you're on my blog post, you should see it if you scroll down after this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're definitely gonna want to look in the description and click on a link to the video talking about uploading the XML file to Google Merchant Center. So anyways, thanks for watching.